Venezuela. Wow. What a way to kick off 2026, not with a bang, but with rather a bomb. And it's interesting because I haven't spoke too much about Venezuela throughout my content, but it's even more interesting because I was listening to another truth channel called Truth Unedited just maybe 2 weeks ago. And he was talking about how he believes that Venezuela is going to be used as a means to cause war and start World War III. This has been a really big talk now these past few days. I mean, it just happened yesterday, right? Yesterday morning or whatever, where Maduro was captured, the quote unquote president of Venezuela. A lot of people are cheering this on, more in particular the people who lean MAGA, because we think that we're going to come into a dictatorship and the Venezuelans are going to be free and that America is going to change these people's lives for the better, right? Just like with Iraq, right? When we went to war in the Middle East back when 9/11 happened, right? And we came in, right? And we saved the day, didn't we? America, the Donald Trump and all these people that become president, they just care so much about these foreign countries, right? We want to make peace for them. We want to give them freedom and a better life, right? But does that really ever happen? I mean, do these things really ever happen, or do we just come in their country, take over their resources, keep it to ourselves? And when I say ourselves, it's not for the Americans, it's for the rich people. Donald Trump is a billionaire. He was a billionaire twice in his lifetime. I mean, you have a better chance of, I don't know, being born maybe 10 times than being a billionaire 2 times in your lifetime. I mean, it's really crazy what people believe. For example, remember maybe just a couple months back when there was that ship, the Venezuelan boat that had drugs on it apparently, and we blew it up, right? And everyone, that was such a big talk for like a week or two. Everyone's saying, yeah, we got, it was good that Trump did that. Obviously, all the MAGA people, they support it. They say, hey, we needed to blow up that boat. Otherwise, they're going to bring drugs into our country, and it's going to cause mayhem. It's going to get people all messed up and addicted to this stuff that they bring in. Well, here's the thing. The government needs drugs to come in. The government has been smuggling drugs into the country for decades now. Why? Makes them billions and billions of dollars, and it also keeps people distracted. It keeps them hooked on drugs. It keeps them stupid. It ruins people's lives, and they want that. Your government does not want you to be healthy, happy, and spiritually enlightened. That is the last thing your government wants. Your government wants you dumb. Your government wants you in the clouds. They want you focusing on the wrong things. They want you thinking that the government is good and would never do anything bad. And anyone who speaks out against the government is a dangerous threat and is a conspiracy theorist and is a potential domestic terrorist. That's what they want you to think about people like me who actually tell you the truth. Listen, the whole point of going after Venezuela and all this stuff might actually be to kick off World War III. Truth Unedited, the content creator I was just watching, might be right about it. But really what it's about is it's not about a better life for the Venezuelans. It's not even really about oil. Because yes, obviously the Rockefellers, who are part of the major elite, who have a monopoly on the oil industry and then went off into media, pharmaceuticals, education, right? All that stuff, technology, banking even, all these things that these elites have done over time. It's not to benefit the average person. It's to benefit that 1% of rich people who are in an occult, who are in a dark occult. Obviously, they're going to take over Venezuela's oil and resources, but they're not going to spread the wealth. That doesn't mean that gas prices in the United States are going to plummet. I wish they did. I hope it does. But it's not going to happen because it's part of an agenda. The agenda does not include deflation. It does not include the prices of everything going down. Everything is going to continue to skyrocket. There's probably going to be some sort of war or rumors of war that comes about this because that's what they want. They need a third world war. They need tensions between countries. They need people focusing and distracted, on war. It's about taking people's freedoms away. When you're in war, this makes the bankers more rich because the bankers finance both sides of the war. They finance the war. It puts these nations in debt to the bank, and the bank now owns these nations because they owe them money. You understand how this works? This is not about a better life for Americans or for Venezuelans or for anyone for that matter. This is all about taking people's freedoms away, just like with the Patriot Act that was signed after 9/11, and then we went to war and we still haven't came back, right? This is about a transition. We are the old world order is not going to stand how it was. We are very 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 far past the post COVID era of life, and we're entering into technocracy. That is the next step. Is they want things digitally. They want a digital ID. They don't want you to be able to travel unless you have a digital ID. They don't want you to do anything, buy food, buy water, be able to rent a home or whatever, unless you have some sort of digital ID, because it's all about putting you in a digital prison. So that way, anything you do, everything you do, anything you say, everything you spend money on will be tracked and traced. A lot of people might say, well, that's fine. I got nothing to hide. What do I care, if the government is looking at everything? They practically already see everything, which is true. But here's the point of it all. We're living in a time right now where you still can say what you want. You could still have freedom of thought. You could still have freedom of expression. But there's going to come a day very soon where that's not going to be possible. Where if you dare question the government, Big Brother, whoever's your authority, and you question it, you're going to be put in prison, or worse, you're going to be fined, or you're going to be shut off. Your digital ID, however it's going to work, it could just be shut off. And once you're shut off, you can't buy food, you can't buy water, you can't rent an apartment, you can't even validate necessarily even who you are to authority, right? If you're turned off, or to other people, the sheep that are going to be wandering around loving this new digital ID because maybe all they have to do is scan their face or scan their hand, and as opposed to taking your card out and scanning it now. The sheep are going to love it. And there's probably going to be social credit score along with this, meaning that citizens are going to be rating each other. We're going to be walking around kind of like the episode in Nosedive of Black Mirror, and we're going to rate each other on how good of sheep we are. And if we're being, quote unquote, if we're following social norms and being good little sheep, we're going to rate each other good ratings. But if we're not, and we're talking about freedom, and we're talking about, hey, look, the government is lying to us, they're making us do all this stuff, they're making us fight, they're taxing us half to death, they're screwing us, they're doing all this bad stuff. Oh no, we're going to lower your social credit score because you're talking against the government, and the government is good and would never do anything evil, so we're going to lower your credit score. That's how it's going to work. It's probably going to be like a universal basic income type thing. You got to play along to get along, and anyone who resists, anyone who doesn't want to go along with this is going to be left behind. The new era that we are entering, folks, is an era where we're not going to have freedom of thought, freedom of expression. You are going to be told what to do. There's going to be one truth, and that's the truth that everyone's going to follow. There's not going to be any debate on if something's moral or immoral or right or wrong or true or untrue. It's going to be, this is what is, and if you don't agree, then you're a potential threat to society. That is where we're headed. And not for nothing, but, when it comes to the stuff with Venezuela, it's not about the Venezuelans being free. It's not even about the oil. Like, yeah, they obviously are going to take over their oil fields, just like the United States always does with any country they take over, right? They always take over the natural resources, and the rich are going to be the ones that control it and have power over it. It's not going to be the average everyday person like me or you. And even beyond just the typical, the very surface level this is to liberate Venezuelans. The next level, if you can get past that, it's about oil, it's about making the rich more rich or whatever. Yeah, that is true. But even beyond that, this is about starting war. This is about a potential World War III kicking off, and it's about taking away freedom from people. It's about deceiving people. It's about justifying stuff to people, and then it's about changing the way we know life. It's about changing stuff. We are entering a digital age where you are not going to be able to have freedom of thought or freedom of expression. You are not going to be able to question the government the way you can today. Today, you can question it. You could still question it. You could post right now, what you really think is happening and have an opinion. But my point is that soon you're not going to have an opinion. Soon you're not going to be paying in cash or in money the way we are now. Soon we're going to have a social credit score system that is going to enslave us. It's going to go hand in hand with universal basic income. It might be tied into one. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. No one truly does. But how many more times is the United States going to just go into another country, bomb it, take over its shit, and the Americans are cool with it? Everyone's cool with it, but it's because the reason why people are cool with it is because they don't see the bigger picture that's happening here. They don't see that everything that's going on here is not what it seems. They keep thinking that all of this stuff that's happening, it's good for the United States. It's because Trump is leading us to a better future, but that's absolutely not the case. Trump is the guy that was chosen to lead us into technocracy because, as I've said a million times, the people who lean conservative, who would actually stand up and fight if it came down to it for America, are sitting on their ass and are stagnant because they think Trump is going to save the day. They believe that Trump is the hero of the world. They think he's Jesus Christ the Messiah, and they do not understand what is coming. And what's coming is going to be a major shift in how we live life. Things are not going to be how you know it. The entire job market is shifting because of artificial intelligence. Everything is shifting. And this isn't about, we need to adapt, otherwise we're going to be left behind. It's not about adapting. It's about speaking out against what's coming, because what's coming is not in the favor of me or you. And if you care at all about your future, and especially the future generations, you would be out here making content like this and trying to wake people up. Because listen, me just talking about like truth and saying all this stuff, and no matter how much rational sense I make out of it, it's not going to change anything. You have to want to change. You have to be hungry for truth. You have to have self-respect, and you have to have accountability and discipline and be able to educate yourself on stuff and come to your own conclusions on what's true and what's not. And even beyond just that, then you have to get out there and you have to give the truth to people. In this day and age where there is so much misinformation out there, there's so much misinformation and so much deceptions out there, it's not even funny. It is really hard to get people to see things because of the amount of deceptions that are out there. A lot of people, as I've said a lot too on this channel, they think Israel is doing everything, right? I see a lot of that too when it comes to Venezuela, how this is the United States is covering up just for Israel, to go in there and become the top oil reserve owner or whatever it is, right? And I understand it. I totally understand why people think it's friggin' Israel that does all this stuff, because yes, Zionism is a problem. Obviously, the people who occupy that land don't belong there. But beyond just that, there's been all these conspiracies that got huge in 2025 about the Jew hatred. And anyone who's making you hate a particular group of people is misleading you, such as Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, Jake Shields, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, right? Alex Jones, all these dudes who come up on here and deceive you. Not that they don't say some truth, but most of what they say is a lie, and it's not for your best interest. These people are bought and paid for. How do I know that? They get pushed out. They garner a ton of views. They get donations. They get money for what they do. They have ads on their stuff, right? Someone like me who actually says truth and has no motive of money or anything like that will never be big. You can look at my channel. I got friggin' 62 subscribers. My videos barely get 100 views. I'm lucky if I get 50 views on a video. That would be terrific if I got 50 views on a YouTube video, right? My most viewed YouTube video, which has about 1,000 views, is a reaction video I did last year to Nick Fuentes talking about marijuana. So it's, again, I don't know everything. I can't tell you what exactly is going to happen, but it's just, I find it interesting how I was just watching a fellow truther, Truth Unedited. I'll leave his channel link in the description below if you want to check out his channel. He was talking about how Venezuela is going to be used to start off World War III. And my God, like 2 weeks after he makes that video, here we go. The president is captured. United States is now taking over their oil reserves, right? And all this bullshit. And people are cheering it on. People love it. It's the big talk of the past 2 days. It's trending all over social media. People either think it's bad because, it's imperialist. We're being imperialist. We're going into other countries. We have no right to do so. We're taking over their stuff. I agree with that. And then The other side says, oh, it's good because the Venezuelans had a dictatorship. They deserve to be free. But let's be real. The MAGA people, they don't really care about Venezuelans. They care about what Trump does. Whatever Trump does or says, the sheep that love him are going to flock along with it. And they're going to say, oh, well, this is a good thing then because Trump said so. But really what this is about is it's about kicking off World War III. This is about you and me. This is about taking freedom and rights away from you and me. It's pushing the agendas that the powers that be have even more forward, because we are going to enter a time very soon. Don't know how it's going to happen, when we're not using cash anymore. The U.S. dollar is not the world reserve currency or whatever. The job market, how we live our lives, how we make an income, how we make a living, it's all going to change because of technology coming in and because we have people who are pulling strings. None of this is natural. None of this is a coincidence. You have people who are pulling strings, and it's up to the ignorant sheep to wake up and stop it. No one is coming to save you. Jesus, you can wait on this Bible character, Jesus Christ, to come save you, but that's not going to happen. If you can't save yourself, then you cannot save anyone. You have to be aware about what's coming, and you have to spread awareness, and you have to be prepared for what's coming. Because at this rate, people aren't waking up. I'm just going to be real. People, we're not where we need to be. The powers that be are most likely going to have their way with us. And the ones who are aware, you need to be ready to resist, and you need to be ready to fight back. Because this is our future that we're talking about here. You know, I'm not even 30 years old. I turned 29 this month. And, I don't have a future. I never think about buying a home. Thinking about kids and marriage, it's very far-fetched for me. Even just like a nicer apartment than where I live at. Not that this apartment I live in is bad, but, I'm going to want to move to a nicer and bigger place eventually. And, it's hard for me to even think about these things. Buying a car in the future. I have a car, but my car is on the older side. It's not going to last forever. I don't think about these things because I don't see it possible. And I'm just being real. I'm not being negative. I'm not being like a downer or not confident in myself. I just understand what's coming. And that's why I do this. That's why I make these videos, because someone's got to tell you, okay? Because, all right, how I'll end it here, just to wrap it up, what I think about it, obviously, yes, it's about taking over their oil reserves so that the rich can get even more rich and that they can have control over natural resources. But beyond that, it's about leading us into a World War III of some sort. And it's about taking rights and freedoms away from the average everyday person, which is me and you. So leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video, share it around, and I'll see you guys in the next one.